medias res. We're not even gonna explain ourselves. But look,
Rudy
here's the
Gobert
thing though. Look, you can't be. I don't care how good you are. You can't be the only good defender on your team and expect to do much in the playoffs. It doesn't.
I mean, not you can't, but like he is from the way they make it seem, he is a top 5 defender of like this generation. But he's continuously getting cooked when it matters.
But here's the thing. You got to keep in mind. The best players cook everybody regularly. That's not saying, "Oh, you got cooked by like KD or something." It's not special. It's like every other day.
Exactly. And there's only like one big man that can actually guard like four positions. And that's
guards on the pick and roll. Playoff guards on the pick and roll. Means you're playing the playoff, you're playing the best guards. Now, we've seen people who are like the defensive juggernauts who pose a threat to people, right? Even the best players, when I say pose a threat, like they make the shots harder, right? That's all you're gonna possibly ask them to do is to make the offensive person work as hard as possible to, get that bucket. And Rudy Gobert in the playoffs when it matters, and it has to be specific to playoffs because regular season basketball in the NBA, everybody knows it's just whatever, right? What Iman Shumpert said recently, like basketball in the NBA, no more is it checkered, or no more is it chess, it's checkers, right? You don't have to run crazy plays and try to make a chess move and counter the other opponent. Damian Lillard comes on the court, he pulling up a 40, like a lot, and you get up on him, he going right past you. That's the offense, right? If you go back to 2008, you watch those Boston Celtics teams, and that's just for one example of many. They're running legitimate plays because, that's just the time of the game. But Rudy Gobert is getting cooked all the time and doesn't make it difficult for anybody in a time where it matters in the playoffs. I hate Draymond Green, you know it, but at least he makes things difficult. But
he's also like 6 inches shorter than Gobert.
But you can't score at the rim against Rudy Gobert. Excuse me, it's been a minute. But you can't score at the rim when he's on the court.
Yeah, you can because in the playoffs he has to come out, and so when he comes out, he gets cooked going to the rim because it just drives past.
But the fact he has to come out is not his fault though. That's the fault of how the team is set up. Like the fact that he can't come out and like the defense not fall apart is not on him.
But like it's not his fault. But if you say we got 2 players on offense, players on defense on this side of the court, whoever's guarding Rudy Gobert, it's been a while. Whoever Rudy Gobert is guarding, come up, we're going to run a pick and roll. That's a score every time Rudy Gobert in the playoffs. And I wish he was better. But guards cook him every year.
Here's the again with Rudy Gobert, we already know he's not that fast. All right, like
not that fast.
He's here's the thing, right? That on the perimeter, you're correct. This is an issue, right? But again, dude's not recognized as an elite level perimeter defender. He's recognized mainly for his ability to protect the rim and to just wreak havoc in and around the paint, right? And the thing is that when the pick and roll happens, right, he's going to have a decision to make, right? He can play into the fact that he is not that fast and go and come back, or he will have to come out and contest. The minute he comes out and contests, he's going to get blown by, or that leaves that leaves one of his teammates on an island with a dude his size. And if he plays back, especially when a dude doesn't get through the pick, right? And on a well set pick most dudes aren't getting through that in time, especially not for the dudes we start talking about, like again, like a Lillard or a Curry, right? That like if he plays back, that's free points, right?
Listen,
If Gobert
I,
doesn't come up and contest, that's free points.
I can't do a better job of explaining his flaws than you did just now. You
But
did it
it's like
better than I
here's the
could ever
thing:
do.
if you're his coach, you have to understand this, and you have to try and cover some kind of way. And it doesn't do us, and like as a coach, and like as somebody recognize, like it doesn't do you any good to. It's like yes, recognize the player's limitations, but it's also like that doesn't take away from what they do well, and it doesn't change the fact that like what he does at an elite level. But
And at
like
the end
you
of the
also,
day, look, you're right. What he does at an elite level, and you know his elite level contributions for what he does would make a championship team pre 2012. But then you got this guy named Steph Curry who changed how the league plays. So there's dudes who aren't even as good as shooters as Steph Curry trying to do what Steph Curry does. All of a sudden, boom, Rudy Gobert, invaluable when it matters. He, and that's
it's
just
like
his
part of
league.
his inviolability is the fact that like his teammates collectively aren't that good at defending the perimeter,
But
right?
it's not
And
like,
like,
sorry,
no, go ahead and say it. Whatever it was, it's cool.
but it's like his coaches they have a really good offensive team. Point period.
Mm-hmm.
And it fits perfectly for Rudy Gobert, right? Because Rudy Gobert can just get their rebounds and offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, and he can just kick it out real quick and just run block to block. Fine. But defensively, they're made to be successful in the regular season. But then, obviously, regular season basketball and playoffs basketball is not the same thing. And it's just, and I don't hate Rudy Gobert. I love seeing him get cooked. Like, I don't hate him whatsoever. But I just, truthfully, I don't have any real opinions about the Utah Jazz, right? The Utah Jazz are,
Top three.
bland. They are salt. Look, the Utah Jazz are saltine crackers, right? It's a little dry. Like, that's what Utah Jazz are. You know what I mean? It's what they always have been. It's what they'll continue to be, right? It doesn't matter if you have John Stockton. It doesn't matter if you have Darren Williams. It doesn't matter if you have Donovan Mitchell. They're just a little bland on the taste buds. And I don't have real opinions about them, but every single time the playoffs start, Donovan Mitchell's a really good player, and the Utah Jazz tend to be a really good team. But I'm trying to figure out do they have to do something with Rudy Gobert to put him over the hump of a good regular season team to a really good contender? That's all I'm saying.
That's a solid question, and like I don't have pretty answers just because like again I think it's like you'd probably argue part of the issue is kind of the team defense, and like the reality is that there's not a good defender that come like when the X's and O's start to matter that you can't largely scheme out of mattering right by themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Because like you can just kind of leave their dude over there. In the case of like a Rudy Gobert, you can put a dude his size who can halfway shoot on the floor, and like he has to start playing over just to be safe, right? That takes him out of position to contest in other places. It makes him have to move more, which again, he's better when he can be more like if he can be more stationary on defense. It's better for the team collectively. So just putting somebody who can shoot out there that he has to guard, but also just like if the team is getting cooked, it's not necessarily. Okay, I'm gonna put it like this. If not, like, and this isn't trying to like slight Donovan Mitchell, but if he's getting cooked on defense on the regular, there's not a whole lot Gobert can do because like they can't guard the same guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And once again, if this was so easy to fix, I'm sure somebody would have fixed it, right?
Oh yeah.
Why do I feel like it's a player personnel thing where it is?
It basically is.
It is. it's not easy to fix it because it's only like I can only think of like two dudes that can actually solve this problem where they can actually guard somebody on the perimeter a little bit and also be that weak side rim protector. I can only think of like two people, and that's like
Who?
Aaron Gordon and Miles Turner. And I say Miles Turner mainly because secondary rim protector that can also shoot threes. You said what?
Draymond?
Not a rim protector.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He's
gonna have to take charges. He'll take charges and he'll be in good position. So maybe you can do something with that. But like we're talking about a dude that's going to have like a head of steam coming downhill, and that person that's going to be standing in front of them is a 6'6", 6'7" power forward who does not have lift. Yeah, that's a poster.
LeBron?
When he buckles down, maybe.
LeBron when he tries on defense.
Yeah, but like
because like
Miami LeBron would be perfect for this.
A prime LeBron, 100%. Kawhi Leonard, I would say pre 2 years ago, like pre the playoffs when he guarded Giannis at the rim. Like pre that playoffs when he beat Toronto. Pre Toronto, Kawhi Leonard, I would say yes. Post, he's on the floor, so I can't really give him any kind of credit, even though I want to give him pretty much a lot of credit. But no, you're right. But it's not. I don't know, but
yeah, it has to be like almost ungettable players that can solve their issue.
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot of teams, though.
Yeah. Top. Pascal Siakam, but
full well that they're not like the Jazz aren't going to want to give up what the Raptors would want for him.
Weren't they trying to ship him already? Like this? Pennies on the dollars, guys. You have your replacement in Scotty Barnes.
Moving forward a little bit, because that got kind of esoteric. We started off in the trenches of this, but okay, let's Nets.
All right. Well, I mean, so before we go to the next thing, let's go ahead and get what is it? The intro in. Guys, I know you're already 12 and a half minutes into this podcast, but I am your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr., and this is the Traveling Hoopers NBA Show podcast. In front of me are my two really good friends, Calvin McGowan and Philip Dixon. They've already heard your voices, guys. So, oh, dang. Sorry, Philip. No AKA. You got to save it for the end of the podcast, which should give you enough time to come up with a good one this time. Yeah, we still gonna wait. We still gonna wait. I don't trust you yet. Limited minutes for you. But
you treat me like Patrick Beverly.
Yeah. Limited attempts too, my boy.
Wow.
You gotta make sure you hit when you get on the floor. You gotta make it count, and you haven't been lately. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and continue our discussion. I think the only thing we can really talk about is the Chicago Bulls, and when we do that, we turn to our reporter, Philip Dixon. Go ahead and tell us what you got on the Midwest teams.
The Midwest is young and restless. Little Kanye out there, college graduation. So the Chicago Bulls, at the moment of this recording, are number one in the Eastern Conference. And what can I say? They've been cooking. And they've been really cooking. And what makes it most impressive is, so right now they're on a 7-game winning streak. Lonzo Ball has been out half of them for safety and health and safety protocol thing. And Alex Caruso hasn't been in all of them because of an injury. Those are their two best defensive players. It's not even close. Alex Caruso, when he went out, was number one in the league in steals, and Lonzo was just a guy on the court who was disrupting, but also could guard 4 positions. I mean, literally from point guards to they play the Knicks, he's guarding Julius Randle, right? Like he's doing it all, which allows DeMar DeRozan. And not to forget, he's shooting over 40% for the 3-point line at a high clip, right? So that allows DeMar DeRozan, that allows Zach LaVine to focus on what they do best. And at the beginning of the year, you had talking heads on ESPN and Fox Sports One and all these other things, talking how they probably won't mesh. And they not probably. They didn't say probably. They said they won't mesh. Which, if we rewind the tape, the beginning of the year, I definitely said that wasn't going to be the case. And I gave the reasons why they were going to mesh. And they have, right? But the thing that's wild is Zach LaVine is playing like Zach LaVine, right? But with like a different kind of gusto to it, right? So this last game they played the Washington Wizards. And you saw Zach LaVine try his hardest to outplay Bradley Beal. And you can make an argument with his 33 points, where it was, that he outplayed Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal is notably one of the best shooting guards in the NBA, right? But DeMar DeRozan is scoring so easy. It is kind of wild, right? I don't mean like he's coming down and he's shooting all these crazy threes, so his numbers are going up. His shooting is going up, right? In terms of points per game, in the 40s and the 50s, and none of that. He just comes down, posts up, hit him with 4 or 5 Kobe moves, bucket. Mid-range, bucket. Now, everybody's focused on these last 2 buzzer beaters he hit, which I think they said he was the first person in NBA history to hit 2 buzzer beaters 2 direct days after each other, right? Larry Bird hit 2 buzzer beaters in 2 games that were next to each other, but they weren't in consecutive days. So DeMar DeRozan hit him in consecutive days, first time in NBA history, and that's what a lot of people are going to be focused on. But I think the continuity of the team is what needs to be focused on. And that Vucevic didn't play well at the beginning of the season, and now he's starting to play like the all-star Vucevic that was in Orlando. And they have a deep team, right? Lonzo comes back. Kobe White's coming off the bench. Kobe White been cooking. Like, you watch him, he been cooking. Like, he's scoring 20 points in games and stuff like that. And to have that coming off your bench, along with Caruso, who is a good facilitator and a really, really good defensive player, along with, some of these other players that have contributed well, really, really well, some of these draft picks they got. And you talk about other teams of the East. You talk about, 76ers, you're talking about Boston, you're talking about the Knicks, talking about Brooklyn. They're not as deep. They're not as deep and as sturdy deep. So if one player goes out, you have to have one person take over, right? And that's not how the Bulls are. The Bulls are much deeper than the rest of these teams, and I'm calling it right now. Eastern Conference Finals, Milwaukee Bucks, Chicago Bulls. I'm calling it right now.
You saying that even after Kyrie's return, but we'll save that for that.
I 100% say that after Kyrie's return, because my whole thing is this. With COVID protocols, with injuries, whatever, if one of those 3 players goes out, being Kyrie, James Harden, or KD, if one of those 3 players go out, they're incredibly beatable. Incredibly beatable. But all 3 stay, I haven't seen them play really together. They're going to be great, but also they don't play defense. And the Bulls play defense. Milwaukee plays defense. You know what I mean? Like, when Lonzo Ball and Oscar are playing, the Bulls are a top 10 defensive team in the league. Milwaukee obviously is going to be a top tier defensive team also. So it's, I have to take my chances, and Kyrie, I don't like that nigga. So I'm not going to give him no kind of credit. But we can talk about Kyrie later on, though.
Okay. All right. So DeMar DeRozan is getting hyped for this MVP now. From what you've seen this season, how deserved is it? And what is his chances that he'll actually get it?
If he keeps playing the way he's playing, if the Bulls go from if the Bulls missed the playoffs last year and they're number one in the East this year, and the only things you really added were a few lower end draft picks, DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball with Caruso, whatever, then he has to be consideration because he's not carrying that team by any means because they have Zach LaVine and they have like really good pieces, but he is destroying on the number one team that adds to a lot of it too, right? So he might not score as many points as Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, but without scoring those points, his contributions to like the success of the team, you could argue, is higher than all of theirs.
Now, DeMar DeRozan is number 6 in the league in scoring right now, with almost 27 a game. And then, like.
And I believe his
numbers is close, yo.
I believe he's shooting a career high from 3 too. Like he's out here doing his thing.
Yeah,
37%. He's shooting him a decent clip.
Right? Like he's out here doing his thing. 37%. Will he be MVP? I don't know. But I will say this right now. These last two buzzer beaters, because MVP is a lot about, the spectacle too of MVP, right?
Yeah.
These last two buzzer beaters helped this case out a whole lot. Like a whole lot. Because, the shots were ridiculous. The first one against the Pacers, he did a left to right between the legs, but didn't take another dribble and went off 1 foot on 3. That's ridiculous. And then the second one against the Wizards, he did a turnaround to the corner 3, pump faked, or made sure his foot was behind the 3-point line in the first place. Pump faked, got someone off their feet. Bradley Beal played good defense, and then hit the 3. Like those are ridiculous shots. At the end of his career, these shots are gonna be shown like consistently, right? I remember the end of his career is only like 4 or 5 years away, 4 or 5 years away, whatever it is, right? Like he's in mid-30s. In his McDonald's All-American class, he's playing like with Brandon Jennings and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like people don't, people forget how old he was because he went to college.
Yeah.
So, he's been around for a minute. Also, people forget how old he is because he played in Toronto.
Yeah.
So no one cares about Toronto. So for a lot of the first time, so people didn't notice him really, like the mainstream really didn't notice him outside of dunk contests until the Toronto Raptors started hitting up and then getting smacked by LeBron. That's when they started to really recognize him in a mainstream sense. So in the everyday basketball fan with the common basketball fan's conscience, he's only been around for 6-7 years, but he's been around a lot longer than that.
Yeah. I mean, those early Toronto teams did indeed suck, though.
That's why they were able to get him in the first place.
They were
you remember DeMar DeRozan with the even all over? Even all over DeMar DeRozan? He got no swag at all.
I was thinking throw DeMar DeRozan, yeah?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, bro. If we put pictures like rookie DeMar DeRozan in 12 years in DeMar DeRozan, not the same person, yeah.
But still got acne, though.
And look, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan used to look like a child. but like in the face. But then you see him, he's like 6'7" and dunking on people and stuff. You know what I mean? Like he a monster for human being, but yeah, the camera usually adds 10 pounds, but it made him like lose 10 years. It was crazy.
Stupid. Philip, so you said they played the Washington Wizards and the Pacers. Tell us a little bit about both those teams so far.
The Pacers are going to be the Pacers, so they're just they're the Pacers are never contenders, but they're always like pretty good. Like
They aren't that good this year. I'm sorry. I have the standings in front of me.
well, what are they?
14 and 23.
Yeah. And their stars all want to leave.
Well,
except Malcolm Brogdon.
Sabonis needs to go. Like he's good. Like he's good, but like he getting wasted away in the Pacers. You know what I mean? So like, but the Pacers look good to me personally as I watched, or not good. They look like the Pacers. Like, okay, I see it. You know what I mean? But apparently the record doesn't fall in line with that. The Washington Wizards looked. They are contenders. Like, they're not contenders. I remember that early in the year, they're like number 1 in the East and that stuff. Yeah, that was fake. But they look like one of those teams that it's just going to be like good enough to be around, but not good enough to win a championship. It's like kind of in a limbo thing because Bradley Beal can't be your number 1 and you win a championship. And like, I like Bradley Beal. He's a Missouri guy. Like, I like Bradley Beal, but he can't be your number 1. He's like, no, he can't be your number 1. You win a championship. I'll say that right now. Like, I was gonna say there's like he might be able to do like an A-B kind of thing with like, or 1A 1B kind of thing with like kind of how like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are. Oh. But like we've seen that with John Wall, and it just didn't add to anything. So like, but he wants to apparently stay in Washington. So get your check, but you ain't winning. Like in my lifetime, I don't ever expect.
I'm just looking at the numbers, and I couldn't really explain them to you because I'd have to watch. He is shooting the 3 ball worse than at any point in his career.
Oh yeah, I mean he takes really difficult shots. Like he makes the game harder for himself, but it just like defense doesn't affect him.
Hard for himself though. I think his team's just like not great. So like,
but it's better than last year.
I mean, yeah, it's better than last year for sure. But like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, last year was fine. So to be better than last year is not too difficult. You know what I mean? For them at least. Yeah. Talking about Lakers, that's different.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, right? Because like, he's a career 37% 3-point shooter. He is currently shooting 28% from 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's having the opposite of DeMar DeRozan's year.
Basically.
If we would have left him somewhere else where we can get easier shots, there might have been something different, but whatever.
Well, that ain't gonna happen, yo. He getting paid too much money. I think he like being a star. And I can't be mad at it.
Okay, I won't be mad at it, but I'm also not a Washington Wizards fan. Because like, if I know this, some of them have to know this. It's like, damn, we're still this guy. We're gonna be an average team for a long time, huh? Like, because they're not gonna lose enough games to get a crazy high draft pick. So they're gonna be in basketball purgatory, in basketball limbo, and that's never what we want to be. You know what I mean?
But they back to the early version of the Wizards. You remember when they had Swaggy P and JaVale McGee?
Hey. With those trash blue jerseys, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like right after the gold jerseys with Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah. Hey, did you see KCP like hit the side of the backboard with a dunk?
Yes.
Bro, that was awful. It made my day, but it was awful.
Kyle Kuzma has been kind of doing pretty good.
Oh, you like Kuzma now? Is that what you want?
No. I keep the same energy at all times. I'm saying Kyle Kuzma before DeMar DeRozan hit the turnaround 3 to win the game. Kyle Kuzma hit the 3 before that to put the Wizards up. It was a deep 3 too, and he had 30. So he was doing pretty. He looked like he was doing pretty good. But once again, if Kuzma's one of your best players, then that says a lot. Let me leave it at that.
Kuzma a bucket though. All right. But in some much brighter news, the King Kyrie's back, yo.
Is that brighter?
Yes, it's much brighter, bro. He plays on Wednesday. I am excited. I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be a disjointed mess, yo. Is KD back?
Hold up. Let me see.
Because I know he was out for a couple games.
I think he's supposed to be back. Looking at their depth chart.
Oh yeah, it's over for y'all. It's over. And we out hard out here, being tied for leading the league in assists. It's over for
here's they still have a basic problem. Two basic problems, right?
You already know what I'm gonna say.
I know, and I feel like at this point you just it's just like it's a bit or whatever. But like one. They again, and this is the entire reason they're pulling Kyrie now, because Joe Harris is hurt. Since Joe Harris has been hurt, they have been just north of mediocre. They've lost 5 games in that span, going I think I said 8 of 5, including losses to the Rockets and the Magic.
In fairness, no KD. No KD and Harden in one of those games.
Correct. But let's be real. Even with that, that's not an encouraging sign. Besides that, right, they also split games with the 76ers and dang it, who was that other team? 1 second. With 76ers, who, while they're okay, and they split with the Clippers. They had Harden and KD for those games.
That's why we getting Kyrie, baby.
Yeah, but no, never mind. I can't. Never mind. I won't talk. I hate Kyrie so much that I can't But
here's the basic.
I hate Kyrie enough for off basketball reasons that I can't audibly. I hate Draymond for fun basketball reasons, but I don't like Kyrie as a person, so I can't speak objectively about Kyrie in basketball. I just can't.
I'm gonna do it but I'm not the biggest fan of the man off the court either. But the basic issue is for the team, even with him back, one, as we mentioned before, and you'll continue to say does not matter, even though it clearly does, is they don't have depth. Part of the reason they're bringing him back is because if one dude gets hurt, they're starting DeAndre Bembry. Every time I'll talk about him now, and by tomorrow I won't remember that he's in the league. And let's be real, that is not a good plot to be in. Right?
So?
And Kyrie, even with Kyrie has never been the healthiest basketball player in the world.
If he does all this year and gets hurt, you know how sick I'm gonna be.
He purposely sat out half the season. Y'all got tricked. And you telling me he's only gonna play a quarter of the season, really? Because he just on the away games. Come on, yo. Mind games. And they're not gonna have home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Come on.
Mind games of a person who's out of his mind.
That's all fun and games until they're coming in down in game 6.
You mean to tell me the man who hit one of the best shots in NBA Finals history, we worried about him in Game 6?
He won't be in Game 6. That's the problem because they don't have home court.
Oh, fine. Game 7, baby. What's up?
You got to get to Game 7.
We can do
and
that.
If you've got your two best players in, and you're splitting time and you're splitting games with the Clippers, right? There's no guarantee at all you win Game 6.
We don't have to play the Clippers until we're in the finals.
But they are a mediocre team.
Mm-hmm.
You're splitting games with a mediocre team. Like it's just not encouraging. It's just like with Harden and KD, like it's not encouraging.
Alan, is this your man's?
Hey, look.
Your man?
Hey, look. He's next to my man, so I'm gonna ride with him. Okay. I want this for KD. I want the ring for KD bad enough where I'm putting all my hopes and thoughts and good wishes into Kyrie. That's the basket that I chose this season. All my other baskets are like not coming down the hill whatsoever. So I have to believe the man who is a career almost 25 point per game scorer, who I imagine has stayed in shape this entire time, because we never really had that issue with Kyrie Irving, is going to be able to come in and do his specialty, which is score 25, and shore up a lot of the issues that we have. He's not going to help us on defense. I don't expect him.
But like most of your issues are on defense. They were always on defense.
Boom. You know how it was like your best offense is your best defense or best offense is a good defense? Whichever way it goes.
I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not gonna help you.
We just added more. Look, there's literally nothing we can do to solve our defensive woes. There's not a player that we can like pick up. There's not somebody that we can trade for because we don't have any assets. We literally have to stake all of our hopes in Kyrie Irving. That's it. There's no other option. Like nobody else is coming through that. And hopefully Kyrie is spiritually enlightened enough where it's like, okay, we ain't got nothing to worry about.
Wait, what?
Except when, he gets...
What spiritual enlightenment have to do with basketball? I'm confused now.
Nothing.
Godliness. I don't know. This is all I got.
Like, what? He's just gonna throw up prayers and pray to God they go down like this is Kuroko no basket or whatever?
I mean, some of the stuff that he's done is basically the same thing.
I mean, like, we can say that about a lot of amazing players, though.
Yeah.
Like,
he's coming on. He's only gonna play on the weekends, baby. Like, come on.
Like, but like, here's okay. So first, I'm just like get out the way that like I want, since we seem to basically be back in the same experiment with the Nets that they had last year, which is all offense all the time. I again want them to fail for purely ideological basketball reasons. I will not sit here and lie to anybody about that. But like the basic issue though, right? Just at like historically and just like when we start talking about like putting together like championship teams and such, right? Is that like you of course like you have to be really good on one end, on at least one end of the court. And you can get away with being mediocre on the other end, but you have to be at least mediocre. And like, even and granted, this is a bit of an issue before, but like you take out Joe Harris and you plug in Kyrie, and like your defense has gotten objectively worse. At the very least, it's not any better. You're basically back in the same experiment, and like. The reality is that, like, you're betting that you can outscore everybody every game. And, like, the reality... You think even with that much firepower, the reality is that, like, you're not going to be able... Like, once you start getting to the really good teams, if nothing else, right? The fact that you don't have defense is going to tear you up. But I mean, hey, the entertainment value is there. If you're just trying to be entertained, get on the Nets bandwagon. I'm not about to hate on you for like enjoying entertaining basketball. That sounds like a thought experiment out of 2K.
Sign me up.
I can't. Oh my god, man.
Look,
Never mind. I'm good.
look.
No. I completely understand why you're not on board with this. I'm not on board with this largely for the same reasons. This is just me talking basketball.
Look, I pushed all my chips to the middle of the table at the beginning of the season, and I can't take them back. So I'm gonna risk
you
looking
can.
like a dumbass. I don't want to do it. I personally don't want to do it. I've literally done it every season of this podcast. I don't care enough to switch up this year. I'll take the L. Look, how many years KD got left with Brooklyn? Because that's how long I'm probably going ride with it. That's it. I'll gladly take the L.
Kyrie will be gone before then.
He may not. We'll see.
Then they can sign some players to play defense.
You said what?
I said then they can sign some players to play defense.
I didn't we look at like their numbers
They should.
for like the next couple years? Like they have no cap room.
Do you remember that one time when that like Russian guy owned the Nets and just bought like a bunch of random old players and just like made them horrible for a couple years?
Yeah,
I do remember that. And most of and a number of those old players played for the Celtics, which has nothing to do with anything. It's just noteworthy.
that's really weird. They thought of what 36 and 38-year-old.
What are you implying? I don't understand.
They got washed. Paul Pierce and washed Ray Allen. Didn't they?
No,
Did they have
Kevin Garnett?
Garnett, and washed Garnett.
Yeah, Ray Allen was down there winning the championship. He made the right decision.
Okay,
Miami.
correction.
Toronto
Still okay.
like that nigga.
But I really wonder what he had to do. Like that had to be more than just I'm gonna go play with LeBron. It gotta be more than that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. I think he just wanted to win. He also didn't like Rajon Rondo, so like he was being petty. Probably was like, I'm gonna be petty and win? Question mark.
Yeah. Nah,
now that's something I think is ignorant. But I'm not gonna knock it. You know what I mean? Like, thing.
I'm like semi looking forward to Rondo's retirement so we can get that documentary. That's gonna be fun.
Rajon Rondo's gonna coach. Rajon Rondo's gonna be coaching. He doesn't have a documentary. This man just got traded to the Cavaliers.
Right.
But like Rubio tore his ACL though, so
yeah,
that's unfortunate.
And I feel like he's a good mentor for Darius Garland and Sexton.
I mean, they both hard headed, him and Sexton, so I get it.
Yeah,
actually, I don't even know if Sexton's hard headed. I don't even hear that much about him because he's in Cleveland.
Isn't he scoring like 20, 23 points a game, something like that?
I couldn't tell you none of this man's stats. He is playing Cleveland in 2021 or 2022. Excuse me. I do not care. You play with Cleveland. You might as well play. I don't even know what an equivalent is. You might as well play like the 2000s Browns into the NFL. You know what I mean? I don't care about you.
You could have just said a G League team or something, bro. Like we would have got it.
Listen, I had to think of another sport. My analogy had to be lit.
Oh, shout out to Evan Mobley since we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Are doing pretty good. I've not paid attention to the Cavaliers.
Yes, they are. They're like top 5 in the East right now. It's really
okay. I see. All right.
Yeah, and like one of the better defensive teams in the league too.
I mean, Kevin Love is doing well, right?
Yeah, like he did the 360 dunk the other day.
Rubio was one of the reasons they were doing so well. So the fact he's out kind of dampers the whole momentum they had.
Yeah, but hey, Darius Garland.
The fact I just said momentum and Cavaliers in the same sentence disturbs me.
Hey, but Darius Garland is like really putting on. I think he's averaging like 18 and 6, and people are talking about possibly doing some all-star sniffs, if not this year, next year.
Who?
Darius Garland played
Possibly.
for Vanderbilt like 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago.
Possibly.
It was less. He was on the team. He got hurt kinda early.
These up and coming kids are kind of nice though, so I don't know if he's gonna have one, but old dude from Oklahoma City is pretty nice too.
You talking about Giddy or you talking about Shea?
Shea.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of nice up and coming players, but you know, we're gonna see. I guess we're gonna see.
Yeah. Shout out to Trey Young, who I have not heard anybody talk about this year, but mainly because Atlanta is kind of trash.
The Bulls played the Hawks 3 and 4 games ago, and Trey Young was looking fine. He wasn't looking great at all, but he had just come back off of like, I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it was COVID or injury, but he had just come back like that game, like the 4th game, and then 3 games ago he played again, and they got beat by the Bulls twice. But Cam Reddish was killing.
Oh yeah,
Like they lost, but he was killing. Like
I feel like
he made like 7 threes that game.
I feel like Cam Reddish is going to be really fun in like 2-3 years.
He just needs to grow into himself. You know what I mean? There's players that if it was like in the 90s or the 80s, they would have been in college for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some players that are just like when they hit 21, they become like significantly better, or 22, significantly better. And there's some players who are just like, I'm 18, I'm nice, you know what I mean? And like, but like, I think the average basketball viewing audience wants these rookies to be like nice immediately, and it's just like it's not how it really works.
Yeah. Just like you have them in there, and like by the end of the rookie contract, they're like completely different players. But like patience, it's just like you this kid's not old enough to drink yet. Give him some time.
Exactly. It's like he's 18. He's literally not done with the first stage of puberty. Relax. Yeah. But guys, I think that is a wrap for this episode. Unless we want to talk about some college basketball. Calvin, you got anything?
I won't get too deep into it. But like as far as stuff I have watched, I watched the South Carolina women's team play Stanford. I mentioned this to you. Destiny Henderson put on a phenomenal defensive performance and just game in general with like 17 points, 7 assists. I mean, not 7 assists, 7 steals, and a bunch of just poking the ball loose. They were crunch time rolled around. They were afraid to put the ball on the floor, like near her. Like it was a thing of beauty. And also, I think either right before or right after that, watched Baylor play Villanova, and I've never seen a team play so scared. It was like Villanova was just, I don't know why they were terrified, turning down good shots. Like I've never, like, it's like this, like y'all are shook. I don't know what you think these guys did to you, but like I've never seen anything like it.
Seeing Gonzaga got beat up last year had them boys terrified. He wasn't even on the court, bro.
And then they went on like a 3-game skid before like beating Xavier.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I went to City of Palms this weekend. I met Joe Tipton, who may or may not be joining me for the Prospects Corner on Thursday. It is a more likely yes than no, but we gonna see. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I've been your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr. Please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. Patreon coming soon. I know I've been saying that for the past 4 months, but I mean it this time. We'll see. It's like adding extra work to the bag, baby. I don't know if I want to do that, but the bag needs more money in it, so we'll see. Guys, go ahead and close this out.
Okay.
Oh, COVID, come on, son.
Ah. Okay.
You good?
I think so. But cut. I know you're not gonna, but cut that out anyway. But once again, I'm Cal McGowan. Pleasure to be here. It's always a joy to, get together and talk about basketball at like every level.
Yep. My name is Philip Dixon, aka the Burger King Man. And glad you're all able to listen to us talk about and ramble about basketball. The season's been interesting. And I just watched my first Raptors game not too long ago, and their seats were empty, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they are a different country." So be aware of not just what's going on around you, but in other aspects of life and areas as well.
Yeah. This close, guys. Philip was this close to having a really good closing, and then he said, "Mr. Burger King Man." Love yourself.
Should have been like the real Burger King or something.
Pay Calvin. That slap. That was much better.
Don't do that. I could piggyback off of what he actually did.
We out.